Good evening, Greg here, burning both ends, burning on the back end of Tuesday, May 29th, 2018. It's 11:28 p.m. Pacific. Got my bubbly water and Meyer lemon almost done there. Love my bubbly water. And I had a friend over this weekend, and he said that it might not be a Meyer lemon tree, or it might be a hybrid. So I got to check that out. I mean, they definitely taste like Meyer lemons, but he said that they might not be 100% Meyer lemons, but I should find out. But they're delicious, and I love them. And until I find out, I'm going to call them Meyer lemons. And then also just one more thing about that friend. So I have this thing where I always love a coffee. I'm just like a coffee fanatic. And this friend of mine, he came over to make us pasta with his, I'm not sure if it was a girlfriend or wife, I think fiance. And he brought over some freshly roasted coffee. And I don't think I've ever had freshly roasted coffee like brewed right then and there. And of course, even though it was like 6:30 at night, I had to have like a small micro cup of something just to try it, and it was just phenomenal. So I always love a coffee, and now I think I'm going to be hooked on freshly roasted coffee, because we definitely don't buy freshly roasted coffee, and the taste is phenomenal, and I love it. So thank you, Art and Jenny, for coming over, making us pasta, bringing a great bolognese, and bringing us some freshly roasted coffee. Really appreciate it. So, oh yeah, and they played with our kids. Our kids had a great time with them, and that's one of the coolest things as a parent, is when you witness your children having a great time with some random people. I mean, now Art and Jenny are not random, but as far as my kids are concerned, this is the first time that they met Jenny and the second time that they met Art, and so for them to play with them so much was just really cool for me to see. And my wife as well. So let's just get into what happened today. So today was an incredible day, and this whole post is just about results of this practice that I've been doing this year, and just to bring everyone in, right? So the whole point of this channel is for me to elevate my game, and to kind of do it publicly in a way with these posts, and to take all the wisdom that I've absorbed all my life and try to put it back out into the universe, so that way other people can use it, and also it'll create space in me to attract more wisdom. And the key thing is that all these things I talk about, I am practicing right now. This is not just me pontificating and just talking about random things or even deliberate things. I mean, I am executing on this every day and focusing on it, and I am seeing results. And I think it's important for me to put posts out like tonight, where I can speak to a specific thing that I've been doing and posting on, and here's a specific result that I'm seeing that is proof that it works, and proof that, this whole thing I'm doing is working. And the only way I can fail is by stopping. And so I'm super psyched to keep this going. And so let's just talk about this awesome day. So first, dropped my kids off at school, and I ensed about this. So Ense, I'm digging this platform, this voice-based social media platform. Check it out, ENSE. Download it, iPhone, Android. You'll love it. You'll get hooked on it. I can have conversations with people all over the world, just casual conversations. I'm meeting all kinds of people. And I just get to kind of say my piece during the day. I get to say the exciting things that come my way. And I think that's cool. And one of the neat things about the app is I see when someone listens to one of my Enses. So I think that's kind of cool. I get to kind of see who's paying attention. It's kind of neat. So anyway, I brought my daughters to school. We always get about 10-15 minutes to play on the playground, and I just love seeing them on the monkey bars and playing, and my older daughter helping my younger daughter, and the laughter. And these are it's cheesy, but these are things that give me as a parent like just incredible, gratitude, and just make me so proud to be a parent. And so that was awesome. And then the next thing, on my I-Core Phase 1 connection thing before we hit Colorado, had a bunch of phone calls today, connected with some folks, got to realize the power of story, the power of my story about multiple startups and running an automation company and failures and all that kind of stuff. I mean, it's I'm kind of, almost like sick of it in a way, but I tell the story and someone else gives me some great feedback, and it just juices me up again. It's pretty cool. Yeah, so I had a bunch of I-Core connections today, and it was just really cool. And it's great to meet like-minded people and to have these really positive, forward-looking conversations. I have this theory about engineers because, as a trained engineer, we are trained to, to figure out how something's not going to work. It's a very negative stance to take. So we're making a device, and how is it going to fail? And that's what we're going to focus on. And imagine focusing on that and just staying in that space of like how it's going to break, how it's going to fail. It's a tough place to be, I have to admit. And I think that's why a lot of engineers, can be somewhat introverted and just, I don't want to say depressed, but kind of have a almost depressed aura around them because they're constantly battling these problems. And so it was just very cool to talk to some like-minded people today. And then this evening, I had my men's meeting. So I'm part of this men's team. We get together, we have fun, we talk about our struggles, our wins in life, we support each other. And so it's just really great to connect with my men and just hear about what's going on, all the exciting stuff. And and just spend some time with my men. It's this thing that I do, it's really only for me, right? My kids and my wife can't experience this, but they all know about it and they all support me on it, which is great. And so that was really cool. And then the last piece is I got this awesome infinite game result today that it's hard for me to describe how proud of myself I was for receiving this because of how impatient I can be, and some of my past programming can sabotage me in these spots. And one of the things I've been working on is reprogramming myself. And by the way, yes, this is a periodic table t-shirt on. I am a super geek. I will probably do a whole post during my engineer week. I'm going to have a whole week on me being an engineer. And so you will get to see full on the geekiness that is Greg. So, but let's talk about tonight's post. Infinite Game, I'm back on that. And I realized I thought I had a whole post on Infinite Game, and I didn't. I just mentioned it a bunch of times, and I linked to Simon Sinek's talk, which I highly recommend. It's in the outline. It's also in the description. Check it out. And I'm also leveraging some of my other posts like relationships and timing. I linked to that one. And so, anyway, Infinite Game, this is results from what I call, or what I've learned about is called deliberate practice, right? This is deliberate practice is kind of uncomfortable practice to improve performance. It's not just mindless repetition. It's like really like you are, I'm going to push myself intentionally in this direction with the goal of improving performance. And that's where I'm at, right? So since I've learned about the Infinite Game from Simon Sinek, I've been reprogramming my behavior accordingly to think long term. And then just today I received an amazing win for this change. And so my whole theme for 2018 has been elevating my game. And this process includes me engaging and being fully committed to my success. And this is something I've never done before. I mean, I've been part of the way there, most of the way there, but like this year it's a whole different ball game. And this channel represents my commitment, this double posting that I'm doing. And another important aspect of my commitment is changing my behavior in alignment with this wisdom that I've been able to absorb and been so lucky to get in my life. I mean, I have to admit, I'm very lucky to be where I am, to have the things that I've had, to have the parents that I've had, the opportunities, and I want to leverage that. I want to, give back. I want to be of service. I want to put this back into the universe so that others can pick it up and have success. And ever since Simon Sinek turned me on to this infinite game, I've realized, and this is probably what upsets me a little bit, is all the mistakes I've made in the past by playing the finite game. How I would sabotage things because I was looking to win a battle, not win the war. And the silly mistakes I would make to ruin a relationship or ruin ruin whatever it is because of this silly need to either be right or to win a battle or whatever it is. And so let's hit the infinite game. So I'm linking Simon Sinek's talk on the infinite game. I would definitely watch it. He does a great job with this. To sum it up real quickly, it's just long-term thinking, right? It's empathy, it's patience. There's things that are challenging for me that I'm working on. Relationships and timing. I did a post on this. You can check it out again. I did it on May 7th. It was the second post of the day. Building relationships and having the patience for the timing to sync up. Just because I'm ready doesn't mean that someone else is going to be ready. And this is a key thing. And this is where I would sabotage myself. I would think, well, I'm ready, so of course you should be ready. And the fact that you're not ready, I'm going to let you know how annoyed I am about that. And this is behavior that I had in the past that did not support success, did not support what I was trying to do. And I'm changing that behavior, and it's tough. This is not a switch to be flipped, and now I'm there. This takes, like I said, deliberate practice. This takes deep breaths. This takes, maybe thinking it but not saying it, or thinking it but not emailing it, so, things like that. So let's get into deliberate practice a little bit. This is something that I learned about years ago, and it's funny, as I was writing this outline, whatever mechanism in my brain that brings up memories brought this back up front and center. I was like, wow, this is what I've been doing. When I did yoga a lot, I would consider yoga to be deliberate practice. I mean, deliberate practice is like intentionally uncomfortable, challenging, maybe even painful, and the purpose is to improve performance. And so I've linked an article written by James Clear on deliberate practice theory, and you should definitely check it out. He's got a bunch of really good things in there. He's got a little piece on Joe DiMaggio that I never knew, that I thought was interesting. One of the greatest baseball hitters ever. And interesting story, and I think I mentioned this before, but I'll mention it very quickly, is I worked opening day Yankee Stadium one year, and this was, I think I was like 14, so 20 some odd years ago. And Joe DiMaggio was there. I was in Steinbrenner Skybox for opening day. Joe DiMaggio did not sign an autograph for me. I was very disappointed. I didn't really get it. I was like 13 or 14, but Reggie Jackson signed something for me, so that was cool. And I still have that signature. So anyway, back to deliberate practice. Yeah, so this is just uncomfortable, it's challenging, and the purpose is to improve performance. And that's where I've been, around empathy, around infinite game, around patience, around biting my tongue, around, and, not that I would say mean things, but, what they are is they're like little jabs that are just unnecessary, and they don't support the relationship. And over time, they just create a wedge, which is just not helpful. So let's get into the story of where this result is. So I had come across an opportunity, and I'm going to speak vaguely about it, so just bear with me. And was pushing on the opportunity for a while, definitely being of service, giving a lot. And then I thought this thing was going to hit, and it seemed like the timing was right on both sides, right? And then all of a sudden, the timing on their side changed. And I felt myself getting annoyed, internally. And the old me, right, would have jabbed with, text message or email or whatever it was. And it would have totally ruined the hard work that I put into the relationship. And I don't know why. The past me wouldn't have seen that. I don't get it. I don't know why I thought the jabbing would work or would get them to magically have the timing turn around. So this is the odd thing about, I think that's about all of us, right? We all do these silly things that we don't know really why we do them. So that's something specific that I would have done in the past, that now that I'm elevating my game and I'm thinking new thoughts, I'm behaving differently. And so the new me showed empathy and patience. And this was still difficult. It's not like this was easy. And I was really happy that the communication platform was email and not in person, because I don't know if I would have fared so well in person, right? Because, in person, you have seen, the look on my face and maybe even the biting of the tongue and things like that. But anyway, but my mantra for this whole thing, once I kind of started sensing the timing getting off, because I can sense that, right? You all of a sudden, there's a good constant communication, and all of a sudden it breaks. And there's a break in the communication. You don't really know why, and then you start to see like some backpedaling going on in the communication. And I'm using my hands a lot tonight. Sorry. And so my mantra was, I want to work with this person, whether it is now, a year from now, 18 months from now. That doesn't really matter when you think about it for infinite game thinking, because 5 years from now, that's not going to make a difference. What will matter is if I get to do this work with this person. That's what matters. because doing the work is this thing that I think I mentioned this before. It's called a success step, where a success is just like a win from today. Like, for example, I had a bunch of connection calls with these iCore folks. A success step would be, completing the whole phase and connecting with all the teams, right? That would be a success step. It's a different, right? The definition of a success step is that after it's done, it's a different world, right? Getting a driver's license is a success step because now I can drive. Whereas maybe I had a bunch of successes leading up to getting it, like practicing with my parents and getting my learner's permit and then passing the test, right? But so the success step, it's a new world. I can do things now that I could not before. So anyway, back to my mantra. I want to work with this person. Doesn't matter if it's now or a year from now. What matters is if I get to do the work. And doing the work is a success step because once I complete this round of work, it's a new world. I'm not going to get into the details of what the work is, but that's just the fact of this work. It would put me in a different place with respect to this person, with respect to my experience. It would just be a win across the board for everybody. For me to do this work for these people, they would benefit, I would benefit. We'd all be in a better spot. It would probably lead to more work and more progress on their end and more experience on mine. So it would just be a wonderful thing. And so here's the result that came. So my patience was definitely tested. There was no communication for quite some time on this topic, so I had to just wait and not send out some jabby email, right, which is tempting. And even as the days ticked away, and I kind of got the feeling that this was either falling off the radar, either entirely or partly, I just did not know, right? And that's kind of where this rumor mill starts to turn up in my mind. Even when I was not getting any feedback from them, I kept with the empathy, even in my thoughts, right? So, another day would go by and I would think about this and I'm like, I haven't heard from them. And I would even say, you know what, I bet you that they're having a real tough time with this, or I bet you they're really busy with that, or, this probably just dropped down in priorities because I know how that can happen in business, right? The priorities, swapped around and now the work I was going to do is toward the bottom of the list and they got more important things to do, whatever. That's how I held it. And then the really cool thing that happened today is I got a message about the work. I'm still in the game. It's just the timing is a little bit different. It looks like this is going to happen toward the end of the year. No big deal. But I just thought that was a huge win to get that message, come across. And I don't know, I just felt really juiced up by it. Just, that here, because this is something that's probably been going on for months and, several months, probably 2 to 3 months of, the discussion of the work, me proposing the work, and then now today, right? So we're talking months of time passing, months of opportunities for either the old me to show up or the new me to show up. And just because the new me shows up once, it doesn't mean that the old me's not sitting there lurking in the shadows, waiting to jump out and pounce on this thing and mess it up. So just thrilled to get that. And I find that, with this patience and empathy, I build capital. I build this kind of like cultural capital because now, I'm in a great position, and the relationship is, is still fully intact, and even it's stronger. I would argue. The excitement for the work is still there. It's just been delayed a bit, and So, I mean, it's kind of interesting how these huge wins can come in these little kind of trivial ways. It was a text message, and there's this win. So, but anyway, that's what's going on today. So today was just a great day. Really just very fulfilled today. Got to help my wife a little bit today. Got to be with my kids a little bit today. Got to see my men, doing my posts. Connecting with people on iCore. So yeah, just a solid day. So I'll leave it there. Thanks for listening. I appreciate it. And the whole point of this channel is that we get into discussion about your journey, about how I can help you, potentially. Of course, if you have feedback on what I'm doing, you'd like to hear something or see something different, I'm happy to try it. So subscribe, comment down below, let me know what's going on. Would love to get engaged in a conversation. And then I've also linked the Simon Sinek Infinite Game link. There's the my Burn at Both Ends from May 7th about relationships and timing. There's the article on deliberate practice. I definitely recommend you get into all that stuff. I've also linked some motivational videos that have kind of started me on this path for 2018, which I highly recommend. There's some great music down there. There's some psychedelic ambient. There's a great DJ kind of dance set by DJ Tasha Blank, which I'm really getting into. Some really good tribal stuff in there. And then, of course, the best music of all is the drum tracks in the background. If you like those, that's G Money, my alter ego. I've been drumming for a couple decades, so I write this music. Check it out on SoundCloud. You can listen to a bunch of it for free. Would really appreciate that. I really dig the beats. So that's where we're at. So y'all have a great night, get some good rest, and I'll see you in the morning.